Welcome everyone. We are here in Santa Cilia at the Sail Grand Prix Spain 2017. It's the first day of the competition, and it is with me. It is Roland Stack, the referee for the task. The one that is talking to you is Ángel Casado. I will join very soon Pedro Toquero, that is one of the members of the team organizing this championship. Okay. For today, we have an interesting day with task. Okay, the start gate will be opening in 7 minutes, more or less, and the task for today is a task of 44 kilometers. I am showing that you on the screen, and we'll start in Santa Cilia. Of course, we'll go all the way to Broto, nearby the Ordesa Valley, but without entering in the Ordesa area. From there, we go to the south, to a village called Rodellar. We are coming back to on top of the airfield just to see the people. Okay, from there they have to go to Ansó, north of Santa Cilia. From there, we'll go to the west, to Yesa, nearby the reservoir, and from the Yesa to the control point, and from there to the finish line. Total 243 kilometers. Okay, Roland, what is your opinion about the task, and what are the rules that are going through that?
The weather seems to be a little bit more tricky than expected. There is a rather strong wind from northwest coming over the Pyrenees Mountains. And here there are almost no clouds, only a few clouds, which look like rotors.
The start line is 5 minutes. Altitude to the start line is 1,700 meters. And pilots must be behind the extended start line in 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
So
start line opens.
What you have heard now is the director of the competition, Serge Leclerc, who announced that the start will be given in about 5 minutes. And as you heard, the maximum altitude will be 1,700 meters. This will be a regatta start. That means all gliders will start together when the start line will be open. Before that, they have to be all behind the line to avoid head-on collisions. And they are not allowed to turn to the right. They are only allowed to turn to the left, so that everybody turns into the same direction, also to avoid collisions. They have all the gliders are much higher than the start altitude. The highest one is the British pilot John Garfield, who is at 2,450 meters. And all of them are above the altitude. The lowest have 1,400 meters exactly. They are all behind the line. The George Arias is more to the north, but northwest, but he's coming back to be behind the line. The line is a 5 kilometer long line over the airfield exactly, and from the ground, the spectators will see the glider start. They are only about 1,000 meters above the airfield elevation.
As you can see on the screen now, all the pilots are coming down south in order to be behind the start line. The start line is the green line that you are seeing over there. So they are taking the positions.
Most of them will be obliged to open the air brakes to go down because the speed, the ground speed at the start is limited to 170 kilometers per hour. So they are not allowed to dive from high altitude to cross the line, again, to avoid any risk of collisions. They are now all much closer to the start line. They will soon be all behind the line.
As you can see, all the pilots are now behind the start line. You see the start line in green because you are looking from the right side. And they need to go to the east, okay? You can see this black line that is showing the track that they have to follow. You see the position now of all the gliders. And you can see now they are rushing to the line because the gate is open at this very moment. So you can see all of them rushing to cross the line. Sierra 5 seems to be the first one that is already crossing the line, but in the top we see Jürgen, Jod Hasfil a little bit behind, and Fridolin and to cross the line. No. It is the perception. And all of them, they are at 700 meters. Let me give you now a better perspective of what they are doing. And you can see all of them, they are going to the east, okay? Of course, the east is to the right of, you can see the compass on the top, okay? Now is joining the commentator's position. Serge Leclerc. Serge is the contest director of the Grand Prix, and he's going to be commenting how he sees the day for today. How you expect the day? You expect that all the competitors will close, and how is evolving the weather? Is according with your forecast this morning, because it's a tough job to prepare the forecast. But what is your expectation, Serge?
Yeah, the weather today, it's typical weather from this area. It's the air mass, it's very good, and there was a very beautiful cloud at the morning, and we was expecting a very interesting condition to fly. The only small difficulty is there is a northwest flow, and we are on the limit of the high part of the Pyrenees, and on the west the mountain is very low, and the north air mass arrive by the west into the valley, and this colder air mass, it's complicated some turmoil, and everything it's more, I think, a little bit more difficult what I was expecting this morning. But every people is climbing very good, and probably some difficulties with this cold air mass arriving by northwest, but I expect interesting and good task.
But Serge, explain us why they go so north, because the line is quite south, but all of them they are going north. What is the reason behind?
I don't know. It's
Looking for the support from the mountains, looking for the dynamic support,
the situation is the same than yesterday. The mountain is still very cold, and the north wind has broken every thermal system when you are too close to the mountain, and the south probably drier and very dry, more drier than I was expecting. But there is a sunny south ridge everywhere in the south of the Pyrenees, and it's possible to have a very interesting way during a long time, following all the ridge to the east first, to the second part of the task.
Why all of the gliders are there together? Looks that all of them are in the same thermal, right?
Yeah, I think they are turning together because there is no cloud, and it's easier to stay together. And remember, this kind of competition, it's to stay with every people and everybody, and everybody is looking what the other one are doing.
And this is cortafuegos that we see on the ground. This is a typical point to climb, right?
Yeah, good orientation with the wind. It's there is some protection. It's not a big valley arriving by the north compared to the west valley going to Echo, and there is less wind coming arriving by the north in this valley. The first parameter, and the second one, it's this cortafuego make a small contrast on the ground, and it's very often we find some good thermal, some good dynamic and thermal in the same place. Today, I think it will very important to find all the mix between thermal activity and dynamic, and possibly some wave.
We are now watching Thomas Gosner. We can see that it's 30 kilometers still to Broto, and climbing. Pedro, what is your opinion? What you will be doing if you are in that situation?
I see two ways different. The most of pilots stop at the start of Cortafuegos, and another two pilots going to the east low in the first step in the valley. and it's difficult, but they now we see two different groups and more pilots going to north and the other pilots flying more south in the first steps.
You call it here the escalons, the steps. Escalons is in Spanish. So the one that you have on the south is the first escalon. The one that where Fridolin it is right now is the second escalon, correct, Pedro?
Yes.
And there's another escalon, that another step that you can see at the top of the screen, at the north part of the screen.
And mountains. I think Fridolin is looking to find more dynamic activity. It's going to north to find that dynamic and maybe wave. Today is possible find, but I'm not sure because the clouds and the dry condition for today make the good way if you fly alone. In group, it's easy to fly today without clouds.
And we see that Silverio and Jurgen are coming and joining the big group after going straight into the Broto. They are coming back.
Jurgen is flying more east, northeast, and the other group flying over the first mountain are going to a little south when see Jurgen and Silverio. I think Silverio and Jurgen find a very good thermal now.
Let me put you the thermals. Just I can comment on that.
As said, Pedro, there is two options: staying close to the valley, expecting good thermal, and you can see.
Look at this. Aldo
That
is
is
5 meters per second.
Exactly. You can see the very good thermal. And the second option, as said Pedro very well, with the small north wind, there is some not really wave effect, but a dynamic effect.
But look at John. John is now is elevator, huh?
Yeah, but if you find the point where there's a joint thermal and wave, you can find very and higher condition.
Yeah, normally,
and it's I think it's Fridolin is
looking
expect this kind of system.
sometimes
Proceed.
it's possible after between Blancas and 5 kilometers south, find good thermals, high thermals, and maybe some wave effects, local wave effects. It's not a system of wave, but it's possible to find these different effects between thermal and dynamic and wave. And also in the first mountains north of valley, you have the protection of the mountains. More at east is more protected from wind and cold north wind. And maybe the thermals are better more east.
Aldo. We are inside of the cockpit of Aldo.
2,000 meters.
Yeah. After the first point, into the mountain, not too far to the east, to south, and with more higher temperature on the ground in the south area. And we can see the sky, it's not so bad. There is cloud everywhere south of west.
Kilometers difference.
More or less, everyone is around 30 few kilometers away from Broto. Let me put you the altitudes. See.
Fridolin, no?
Fridolin seems to be looking for going to the second escalon, right, Pedro?
Between second and third step.
So
It's desire to find these two influences between thermals and dynamic conditions, and maybe it's not bad choice.
This town that we see here is Jaca, correct?
Yeah.
And this is the valley of Camfram,
This is back come from
correct?
correct.
And over there we have the Somport and the border with France. So it looks that Aldo and John has already crossed, and also Jorge Arias already crossed the valley, going to. But they right, they will.
No, it's not Blancas. It's Borao, just south of Blancas, and Jorge Arias is flying the first step from northeast of Jaca. It's that valley between Collarada and Jaca is García Pollera. And Fridolin is really high. It's climbing fast. Yeah, very high.
So we'll see if that tactic will pay for.
And a blue day like today, the most easy tactic is flying all together. But Fridolin make another tactic different. It's a pilot for a mountain pilot, and looking for a different effect.
He's from Switzerland. He's so used to fly mountains.
Está fuerte, subiendo fuerte allí.
Let me put you the Fridolin information. No, it's not that bad, right?
Really high. It's
10 kilometers behind the other, so
but if you find that line, it's not weight exactly, but it's the wind comes from north and we find
you can see the stela of the altitude. Right now the altitude is 600 meters above the other team, the other group. Let me give you a perspective of the rest of the. You can see HQ, Fridolin, okay, quite high. The others now crossing the Aurin Valley, correct?
Yeah, Aurin Valley.
Going for the Savillanico, Viesca, Savillanico area.
They are preparing to cross Tena Valley.
Hotel Quebec is not climbing very well. It's losing too much time now. This option looks not perfect. And the group of the 3
Those are the
gliders
leaders. Okay.
are in a
Crossing
very
the-
good situation. They are
Mm.
on the middle of the mountain, and I think it's a very good option. They don't lose too much altitude in transition. That means they have a good way. They have enough high to go to directly, more or less, directly to the point and come back.
Look at this, what kind of a speed. But John is going to 175 kilometers per hour. Not bad, huh?
Now, the first difficulty cross Tena Valley.
So they need to get enough altitude to cross it. What is in your opinion the altitude that you will do
to
it?
reach the next hill almost in the top, because if you rise down and you need to fly flying reach after 2-3 turns and then find the top of mountain to circling to find the thermal is the best option. Have enough altitude to cross and then just arrive at the top of the first hills.
Sí. My good friend Rob to do it to be impressive, but you may be looking a little bit dangerous, but it's not that way. Looks that John took the best option because it's high, it's only 19 kilometers to Broto, and having a very good speed, and will be improving as the time goes by. Um, looks that the rest of the gliders decided to join John. Okay, they saw him. They saw him climbing quite well. They thought, okay, this is a good thermal. Let's let's refill the gasoline that they needed to be crossing the Tena Valley. Now looks that John is leaving the thermal and decided to cross the valley, right? Almost, no. Still taking the last energy that he can extract from the atmosphere.
Still 3 meters.
John still is climbing, and is climbing pretty good thermals between 2 meters and 3 meters per second. Okay, and most of the people are also in that area. Still see Fridolin in the north, but doesn't seems to be as high as the rest of the team. So Thomas is reaching almost 3,000 meters. Seems to be getting a good thermal. So Thomas decided to cross the Tena Valley. You can see the reservoir at the top and the ski stations, correct, Pedro?
Yeah, it's, but the ski station are more north. It's going to.
No, I mean in the north of him.
It's,
Okay.
north are Formigal.
Formigal and
Valle de
Valle
Tena. And now it's crossing an area called Sobre Puerto. Is the crossing, the natural and ancient crossing to cross from Tena Valley to the east to Fiscal.
Only 35 kilometers.
Yeah. Okay, now we are showing you what the application for the ground, and this is the track of John. Okay, you can see that he crossed the Tena Valley. Okay, over here where now the finger it is. Okay, looking for the support, dynamic support over there. Look over here, went to Broto. Okay, and now this is again looking for, but you can see that it's going relatively fast. Okay, and but it's at 2,227, but it's 400 meters, 500 meters above the ground. This is above the ground. Okay. But they need to go to the south. You can see this yellow line is what they need to. This is Thomas Gosner, the one that I am showing now you, and there is this other one. Still needs to go to the turning point. Okay. Hasta Sierra.
You can cancel is receding. You can cancel is receding.
Yeah, looks that they are flying together. But the looks that Jürgen has not touched the turning point, or we may have missed him in some of the fixes. Both Pedro, Roland, and Serge, we believe that Thomas has not touched the turning point, but we see now that that is Thomas. It's just already reached the turning point. It's time to put the track. Look at this. It is beautiful, the turning point, and very fast, no? Let's have a look at what John is doing. John is south of Broto. They need to go south to Rodeyar, and Thomas is joining. But look at John. It's 5 meters per second foot, box. And Thomas looks that he already saw John and is going behind him. That is a tactic, just going close to the leader. Okay, you have now both guys. Okay, it's 32 to Rodeyar, and the other one is 33. So 1 kilometer, one behind the other, and almost. But John is much higher. You can see that Thomas So John really climbing quite well and decided to share the thermal. But also Aldo is with them. John is at 2700 and Thomas is 300 meters below John. That John is leaving. I believe that he thought that was the highest altitude that he can get. After that, it's not worth it, and decided to go to south to Rodeyar. We can see that is 30 kilometers up to Rodeyar. Clerk, Serge, this is the
This
the
is
Proto Valley down to Fiscal, correct?
exactly. Looks like they have not yet turned this.
Yeah. Now we see Hosin also going down. I wonder if he has made it already brought or not. And John is really going really fast, 212 kilometers per hour, going south through the Broto Valley to Fiscal and from Fiscal to Rodeyar. Now we can see the three guys. This is John. Yes. And this is Aldo. And this is Litin. So all of them going down through the Broto Valley to Fiscal, and from Fiscal they need to go to Rodeyar. can see that Thomas is going really fast, 230 kilometers per hour. Of course, but losing some altitude. Still a decent altitude, 2,500 meters, okay, in that area. And also the sceneries that you can see there are really unbelievable. Go back to the 2D application. On those, perhaps too much. This is Rodillar. And those are the gliders. Okay. And these gliders are by Aldo. And this is Thomas. And this is Jürgen. So look at this. All of them, they are relatively close by, already to Rodillar. Rodillar is in of Sierra. That is a beautiful and really impressive to fly with. It is a park, but there's no restriction to fly as long as you fly high. So you cannot go up 2 meters over the park.
Who is it?
You can see there the track guys are doing, approaching the turning point. Let's go and get the tracks. The one that I show you now, it is Aldo. This is John, and let's put the track. And our radar. Again, is this being catched by San Juan de la Peña. Let's see who is this. This is Silverio. So we see that those guys are getting south. What is Serge? What do you think that is the weather over there? It's kind of a guessing, but the weather that they are finding these guys right now down there is better than in the north, or
Difficult to enter.
yeah, but you are the content director. You need to know these answers.
Yeah. It's I expect very good condition on south. We'll see the speed and the climb to confirm my thinking. And this area, the turn point area, is a lot of small canyon, beautiful canyon.
The canyon is
and we,
the Wara.
yeah, there is a small piece of ridge with a big, good protection from the wind.
Mm.
That means the temperature on the ground can climb more than the other part, and we can expect good thermal this area.
The guy that now we're watching is John, but going really fast, but also his value was 7 meters per second down. Okay, but it's still a very nice altitude over the terrain. Okay, 13 or 32 over the terrain. So this is a still quite comfortable flight, correct? It is 56 kilometers out of San Juan de la Peña. looks that Thomas has already made the turning point and going to Santa Cilia is the next point. Looks that Thomas and John are flying together. You can see them almost together.